Here we are. It is the oh shit, 89th? I usually check that out. 80, I'm gonna say 89th. That sounds right. No, I don't remember. That's what happens when you're fighting seasonal allergies. But that's Mike Cook. I'm Matt Riley, and we're here to rock out another edition of the IWAR Gold Strategy Workshop. And as we both try to pretend we're not actually watching basketball at the same time.
Yeah, I'm not gonna deny it.
Alabama destroyed BYU. I think it was almost one of the highest scoring games ever, they said, as far as, points scored.
Yeah, I had so I signed up for the Caesars betting app, and I'd never been on there before.
Okay.
They gave me 10 100% profit boost bets,
Okay.
so I've just been using those. But one of them I put it was Alabama to win the national title at plus 1900, and then I got 100% match on that.
Ooh,
So it's a $6 bet that pays out over 200, something like that.
that's
Two, two,
that's
two
nice.
something. That's
Yeah, we were talking before we started recording about my little pittance bets and I enjoy it, but it is fun. But hopefully we'll get a high scoring strat this cycle to have our own fan duel for IWA.
Mhm.
Ugh.
It's
So we'll
possible.
see. I'm gonna try seeing if I can find. But yeah, our options this time we had the curveball and steel with the 90 to 43. We've already had a
Mhm.
question about that in the IWAR chat group, asking, hey, will it happen here? That's a fair question. Um,
It is, yeah, because we will actually start there if you want. We've
sure.
had four in a row of it being consistent that whatever was the 44 went back to 44. If you go through history, there's one stretch here that was
This is the 90th workshop, by the way.
90. Okay,
Yeah.
so we will hit 100 this. Yeah, yeah, it will be this year.
Hmm.
34. So about 2 years ago, we had a stretch like this. And about a year and a half before that, we had a really big stretch. So about every 2 years, we do get a stretch of, hitting like this for about five, six in a row.
Hmm.
But I would probably go ahead and gamble that 90 will go to 44 because I just don't like guessing against that because
Right.
I don't have the exact percentage, but I bet you 90% of the time it goes that way. So you can't really predict that when it happens in one Fed doesn't necessarily happen in the next.
Yeah.
So go ahead and put it here, just like that.
There we go. So see you guys are well on your
If
way to a
you,
501.
yeah, if you think you're gonna, flip them and maybe have an advantage, you probably could. You could also regret it though. I'll play it safe. I'll put it at the 44 is 90.
Right.
So then we have. It's kind of funny because I actually said on the last one I was going to take the 41 because I wanted to try to get more stars. I was pretty sure that a 42 would be 44,
Sons of bitches.
and it was. But I did get a lot of stars, so I'm okay with it. I'm
Yeah.
not upset about that.
I had a high scoring cycle for me. One of my highest ever as far as I always say when I say that I'm referring to I have 11 wrestlers that are single strats for me.
Mhm.
I don't count the tag strats because you're automatically punting the back end of a
Yeah,
flow.
yeah.
Which is why I
You
always
get
say
lucky every once in a while, but
a good tip if you're in a league it's tough. If you want to challenge a regional champion, go after any tag champion or tag wrestler because if the player is worth their salts, they're flowing their strat, you're going to get a 2 or 3 point advantage out of the gate.
mhm.
So take it. You know.
Yeah. If I have a dedicated like tag or six wrestler like the ASL right now with the best of the best,
Hmm.
I do not even challenge regional champions because I don't want that to happen to me the next cycle if they do get on the page.
Yeah.
Most of my other leagues, nobody has to be in a tag team or six man, so I'll rotate them out. But
How were you doing in that series?
I made it to the second round, so I think I was third overall after the first three cycle thing.
Nice.
Had to go against Derek, but
Derek Tuttle.
yeah, yeah.
Can I tell you a fun?
I
This is
hate to do this to him, but I got to.
uh, I'm a nerd, so when I'm at work, I take notes all the time of various things I think about doing, or So one of the things I did today was wrote down. That's right, names for Derek.
Yeah, yeah. They pop into the
In-
head all the time. You're like, I got to tell him that. It's
yeah, so I gotta keep those names to Derek. Oh, that's what you do. It's like I was saying the other day at work. There, I was like, things that remind you of IWA outside of IWA, and there's this brand of grapes called Sweetums. And I
Mhm.
always think that would be a perfect name for Squeakums the Clown to have a valet, because that's the kind of nerd I am. Oh, all right. So let's see what we got here. As we would say, Doc, tell me straight. How bad is it?
Okay, so let's go to the back. And like I said, I was pretty sure we'd have a 42 last cycle because usually when we have a little cluster like this, it evens out over time. But when you get a couple 42s and you go 141, as you see, we typically go back to a 42 in that. And
Right.
it's pretty consistent that it happens. And it's usually multiple 42s on both sides. There's one instance where it wasn't here. Multiples, multiple. I would say that that gives a better chance that a 42 will be to a 44 than a 41.
Oh no.
That's what I'm thinking.
Oh no.
Yeah.
What are the
So
42s though? How bad are they? 66 and
that I
83. Is
haven't looked at. Yeah.
that right?
Is
Is that
this?
new? Is that up to date? Oh
Is it
no, it
not?
is.
Okay. Yeah, I was hoping it was because
See,
I've been going off that. So
see how horrific it is. Well, that's
83. It looks like it's pretty common for 83 to have two in a row miss, what, for the past couple of years.
Mhm.
Had a really ugly stretch here. So I don't mind 83 looking that way. I usually pick holds that look somewhat reasonable. And I think that's a fairly reasonable one.
Mhm.
I've mentioned a couple times I don't necessarily like the one that drops one like this. It goes 44 or 42. They rarely bounce back to the 44 that way.
Yeah.
And going through here, we don't see an instance of that at all, do we? You might get a 43 out of it, but you rarely get the 44 back off of that. So if you're picking down to one, I would take 83 over 66. I'll probably try to fit both in. When we get to the front, we'll see it's
I'm gonna
doable.
run both at
But
11 and 12.
it's guarantee it.
487 guaranteed. Getting you the strats you want during tournaments time.
So we'll
Oh,
put 83 there and 66 here. The usual disclaimer, you can't rule out the 41s. 41s are always good. That's how you get. Well, it's funny. You know how I said that always gets you a 43?
yes.
Um, I used them in, or no, it was I used the 42 in iron. That's what it was. It wasn't the 41. Okay, so yeah, the
Yep.
41 still hold true to that. But I
Yep.
used the 42s, and both of them went to 41 in iron. That's pretty rough. So every strat had a 41 on it.
Yikes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm in my LWL strat, I think it was. I had not only did I miss a 30, I missed a 45, so that was good.
Ooh.
Rocking the mean strat.
Yeah. I did make up for that missing iron by getting a 501 today.
There you
So
go.
might have a still fed. I was edged for the last cycles because
How
Jake
many
had to
steel
have
feds is that
the
for
best
you?
stretch.
Would how many? Okay, how many would that be for you?
Um, I want to say 9 or 10.
Okay, then I have 8 more to catch you.
Yeah, I think I'm at 9 right now, but I could be at 8, so it'd be 9 or 10.
There it is.
There's 3 or 4 feds where I'm kind of right at that range of getting close to double digits.
All right. So there we have
You
our.
have you have more gold than me though, still.
Uh, I don't
So
even
there
know.
is that.
Uh, I don't even know how many I have. I'd have to go back and look, but I'm sure it's enough.
Yeah.
Um, I do need to hit. I have some title shots this time, so I want to convert one. I want to make a report hit, and not just an IWAR wide regional. Um, so 11 and 12. How ugly is it?
That's where we get stuck because all of these are reasonable options. Um, the one thing that's puzzled me a little bit is the 2-2 part.
Hmm.
We had such a consistent five in between, and that went on for about 2 years. You see here we had two in a row, but all that time in between, it was consistent that we would get that every once in a while. We haven't got one in 12 cycles though, so it's about double what it should have been. I don't know if that means it's due or if you're safe to avoid it. I think if you want to cut something down, that's probably the one to cut. And worst case, if you see it hit this cycle and miss it, it's not likely to happen again.
Yeah,
Because yeah, like I said, it's now 2 cycles from now. If it hits, it could hit again, but it won't hit two in a row. We don't have an instance of that, so you may want to gamble and cut out the 85-65 part if you need to cut down. And if you did go with just one of the 42s, that'd give you three. So you could pick two up here for your six.
mm.
But as far as the other mix, they're all pretty similar. Um, I don't think I really would pick any over any certain one. So that's probably what you'll have to take the most time to decide what you like. But yeah, percentage wise, there's nothing that really stands out to tell you lean one way or the other.
Yeah,
I just know the 2 and 2, so the 85-65 seems to be least likely. It's incredibly due, but we know that when you try to bank on things that should happen, it's when you get stuck with like the 28. It's not happening for 2+ years.
that's right, Johnny B.
So, yeah, don't chase things. We've learned that. I think they get amusement out of that.
I just, I wonder if they said that they cackle. They're like, ah,
Yeah.
yes, another 479. There it is. All right, so here we are with the front end.
So let's do. We'll say there's 8 backs still if we commit to 42.
Okay.
That puts us at 72 right now because here's what we got up here.
Mm.
Aaron took away the most tempting double drop.
Couple.
Still was unfortunately last cycle's gold, so it did have
Yeah,
a double up.
I was
That's
hoping
okay.
for one more, but I thought it'd be a
Yeah,
double. Would
you
have
always
dropped.
want that, especially when the first Fed gives you just one single option out of the way.
Mm.
So really didn't get a lot of help, but what does help us, we can eliminate the 2 cycles ago gold, the 3, and it's like a 2% chance of it ever being the 4. So eliminate that one too. And that takes you down to 26s, 28, 27, 28, 28, 29, 28. And one of the 29, 28s we get rid of because it was the 2 cycle ago 25s.
Right.
So 4, 6, 9 front options.
Okay.
Pretty good.
Yeah, I guess
Look
so.
a little further. You've got 26s, which we still haven't seen any of the double drops this year, and we are on cycle 6.
Right.
So I would say there's a chance of that. But I'm going to give the disclaimer. I think we've had last cycle or the one before. If you go with 26s and it is not 26s, you are missing both holds because you notice everything else has a 28 in it.
Hmm.
So you either will have the absolute best strats or it'll be really bad for you.
Okay.
There's no in between if you take that one. So very risky to take the 26s. I would not do that myself,
Mm.
but some people maybe like to gamble a little more. Uh, 28s aren't bad because you are guaranteed out of the 9 options, 8 will have a 28 drop in it.
Yeah.
So, worst case, you probably miss one. But what we know is still like 15 cycles ago or away from when it likely hits compared to the last 2 times. I'm not going to bother taking it because I would rather just miss when it does happen than get it wrong 2 or 3 times over the next, 5, 6
Right.
cycles.
Yep.
So I will not be taking either of those. They're here. They have more risk. 28, 27 happened 8 cycles ago. It's got 2 of the 25s from 2 cycles ago, which we guessed right last cycle that it wouldn't be 4 in a row on the
Right.
nose because that doesn't happen. The issue is we still are kind of in a spot that just because there's one yes, we're not guaranteed to.
Right.
And I think that was true the time before as well.
Yeah. There's a couple little runs there, but yeah.
Yeah, right here. Yeah. So it's actually been no the cycle after that, yes, after the 3 no's. But again, this has been real shaky. So wouldn't necessarily guarantee that either way. But yeah, I think based on what we see, can't trust which side I would use, but I think 28, 27 is probably in the best spot. 29, 28 is not far behind, though.
Yeah.
Like I said, the good news is, though, you got the overlap that a 28's in both of them. So lean into it, whichever way you like, and hopefully it's the right one. But I don't think it's too bad if you miss the other side.
Yeah. There's one of the questions was, are there any chance of a double in gold this time? Which,
There's a chance. There's what
yeah,
2 out of 9
chance,
technically.
but
Yeah,
I think what was the
it's
last
just yeah.
two 28s? Was like 31 and 32 or something like that, or
It was in the 30s.
yeah, like
Let's
so.
see.
Any other?
Yeah, 35 and 35.
Mm.
So realistically, it could be like the very end part of the year, start of next year if it was 35.
Yep.
Tell you what, if it gets to 34, everybody will say everybody can use it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, let me see here. Get our warning
Uh,
from the good folks at Zoom.
oh, did we?
Yeah,
Yep, there it is. That's it
give a
now.
little 8-minute warning. Um,
Now, one note, well, we tend to lean towards a 28, 27 over a 29, 28. What's most likely to hit 30? A 29, right?
right, yeah, sure.
Yeah. So we know in multis, look at this. A 29 is basically here every time.
Yeah,
If you take the 29, 28 drop and you don't get the 30 part right, or the 29 going to 30, that's a 5 point hit to your
Yeah.
strat. So
Right.
it's sometimes safer to probably include both 29s, unless you're really thinking that's the drop. So
Yeah.
I'll probably be in this range on the 28, 27, but that's kind of, it's just a little safety thing.
I've been trying to do is predict what's going to hit 26, or I try to put like my
Mm-hmm.
9, 10 and try to get, for tag, you want the 28s, but for singles, you want that 20,
Yeah.
26 or 27 at best.
I
Um,
had a chart at one point showing that, but it didn't seem like anything was too consistent on what it is. There's a couple things that I like to do, like whatever is, it's not perfect, but take like, well, I'll show you in still. Because this cycle, so still was a 29 on hole 25, right?
mhm.
So it's incredibly unlikely that if that one's going to 30, the other 29 is probably not going to be in the 30 or 28s, right?
Right.
So you can usually cheat that and you'll get a decent 10. Not guaranteed to be 26. But if you went by that logic this time, oh, wait, you got a 25 here. Is that right? So, yeah, you got 25 this time. But um, usually, usually that's what I'll do when it's the cycle that 25 is there. And then I try to pick which 30 I like the least, but it's not any kind of logic between which one. But you see 30 was one.
Yeah.
You can also, if you don't like to pick a 30, sometimes nothing makes sense there. Then I go to a 25 because 25s may be a 29. You'll never have a 30 at 10. You'll
Right.
most likely have a 28 at 10 and at worst, but that's kind of how I guess mine. If you actually look at what holds hit, though, it's just as common for a 27 or a 28 to hit too.
Yeah, I have a
So,
chart that I put together. I think I've showed you before, and I just break down what like where each number combo comes from. So
mhm.
like for 30 30, I have like it's almost always 29, and like for a while it was 26s, constant 26s, then it was 27s, and then a couple 28s pop up here and there. Um, but it's also because it's interesting. You look at it and like you almost never see like 29 go to 27 or yeah, I think that's what it was. But
Yeah,
like there's certain ways where like a 28 almost never goes to, this or that. So it's again, if you're playing the averages as opposed to playing the hope it drops and, you get lucky, uh, you can, especially in cycles where like we are right now, where we have like tournaments going on and we're getting to the nitty-gritty rounds, you want to just keep
mhm.
your score as high as possible. If I miss a 500, but I get through with a 497, that's great. But if I hit a 493 where I really need those points, I'm probably going to roll 41s with the guys in the tournaments. I'm probably going to roll them at 28s, 27s because that way, if 29 does
Yeah.
go to 30, I don't miss it. It's a big swing, especially in a tournament. But no, I'm looking at these numbers. Yeah, so Darren had asked him one of the things too about like does Johnny B or Kim take bribes?
I mean, I send them money every month. Nothing changes. So
Yeah, I've been bribing them for 20 years. You quiet cat.
the the good news is this is pretty reasonable for the cycle that we don't get much help.
Yeah.
We're set up to have a pretty nice one next cycle. I bet you when we get in here, that's going to be what we start at. It's like a 72 or 80.
Hmm.
So
Yeah, well, if you get
we'll narrow
25,
that down and we'll be at a nice one out of like 24 or 32 options after a few guesses. So
how often does 25 go to 28 and 90 go to 43 the same cycle?
that sounds like an almost never thing. Like,
Trying to be like,
we'd have
screw
to
it,
dig to find
please.
an instance of it.
Drop them all. Um, so all right. Well, it's about closing time. So any final notes before we get going?
Nope. I think that's all I got. So,
Who's your pick for baseball World Series?
nope. If you were betting, you say the Dodgers, right?
Hmm.
Like that sounds pretty safe.
Yeah, so Dodgers
And
versus well, who
let's
did they beat
go.
last year? Was it Yankees?
That
No, the
can't be right.
Yankees choked. Didn't they choke in the playoffs?
Didn't the Mets beat the Yankees?
I forget.
Wait, no, that wasn't a Subways.
No, it wasn't Subway Series. It
What
was
happened?
Dodgers, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was the Dodgers winning, and they didn't beat the Phillies, did they?
No, it would have been American League.
Oh wait, what's going on anymore? I
Like
can't
was it
remember. It was
Baltimore?
oh no, it was the Yankees because yeah, I remember they had those. Remember Mookie Betts jumped into the outfield and those people about
Right.
ripped his arm off and got
Yeah.
banned. Yeah, that was the World Series. Yeah,
There we go.
you might have a repeat of that. I don't know. I don't know who to pick against the Dodgers.
Yeah.
I just know that's probably the safest money.
I like last year after the Celtics won the championship, I immediately went on FanDuel the next day, put in for a repeat, and then I put the Celtics versus Lakers or Celtics versus Oklahoma Thunder. So that was my go-to picks then.
That
And
sounds
so
pretty
I'll,
good
I'll
right now,
try I'll try
actually.
to pick a couple of options. I like to do like small potato bets just for fun.
Mhm.
I think the biggest bet I did was like $10, and it was five pitchers to have 200 strikes or more. And it's just like a ridiculous, like, wow, that's a lot of money for only five pitchers doing that. It should really easily hit those marks.
Well, the first four will hit, and then the other will get injured at like
Well,
198.
that happened to me last year. I had the home run. I had Judge. I had like I had two out of three, but one of the guys was Strider, and he tore his like knee or ligament or whatever. And I was like, up, there you go, you bums, play hurt.
Yeah, the amount of bets that I lose by like 1.1 yard type things, it's
All
ridiculous.
right, so let's put it in FanDuel perspective. Oh, we got like a minute left. FanDuel perspective. What is the odds on 90 to 43 in gold, do you think? What would be the
Or give it plus 1,200. Yeah, it's not happening.
all right, man. Well, thanks again. And next time we're gonna try to cook it up and have a special bonus treat.
Mhm.
And dedicate this show to Porter, the poor pooch I had. He had to get put down this weekend, so I'm gonna have a 501 in his honor, and then fart like hell because that's what he did all the time. So thanks for watching the 90th IWAR Goal Strategy Workshop. We'll be back here in
Ooh.
3 weeks, and hopefully rack up some good scores. Thanks,
All right.
everybody.
See ya.
And